Betway, get way more.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
From number 11, Dr. Morton Lupin at the Brakai in Accra, this is Richard Delasky with Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Tonight, I'm here with
Adjoa Tinkrama Domina.
Coming up.
I came here because Ghanaians are having difficulties and are suffering. And it is my responsibility to try and help. Because if it's a question of counting who votes for me and who doesn't vote for me, I shouldn't be here because you don't vote for me. But that is not my concern. And in any event, one day you will vote for me and my party.
Reactions after President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo treats lower Volta flooding catastrophe as political football while preaching non-politicization of the plight of desperate victims.
I do not think that this is a time to be talking about votes. Who votes for who doesn't vote for who. This is a humanitarian crisis. People have been submerged. Entire communities have been submerged underwater.
This evening, we are back in the affected communities and we'll be updating you on what exactly is happening in the affected townships. We will also update you on the increasingly vibrant state of Citi FM and Citi TV's campaign for cash and relief items for traumatized victims who have lost everything. Also, Archbishop Duncan Williams and Reverend Eastwood Anaba reportedly resign in a devastating blow to the comatose National Cathedral project.
Since January 2023, we awaited news to no avail regarding the finding of the audit. We therefore regret that as a matter of conscience and faith, we hereby submit to you our resignation from the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral.
Tonight, the full story on why the two clergymen who are so much respected have decided to abandon the crisis-ridden project. And for failing to show up in court to prosecute a case they filed in a joint action against the Electoral Commission, Supreme Court panel throws out NDC and 4 others. We'll tell you more later on Point Blank tonight. The Electoral Commission's update on the just-ended limited voter registration exercise. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on these and many other stories on Eyewitness News tonight. Later in business,
National Fisheries Association to meet government to fashion out modalities to provide support to fishermen whose businesses have been affected by the Akosomo Dam spillage.
Adjoa Domina has all the top stories from the world of business coming up in some 50 minutes' time. Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe on citinewsroom.com. Your comments are welcome via our WhatsApp line 054 9986 996 054 9986 996. You can also comment via X by reaching me at Richard Delasky. Let's take off this evening with our very first story. The President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, appears to be drawing fire.
President Akufo-Addo has made an appeal to Ghanaians, urging them not to politicize the current situation in the North, South and Central Tongue constituencies of the Volta region. He stressed that the devastating effects of the Akosomo Dam spillage should be a matter of concern to all citizens. While speaking with local chiefs and residents in Mepe, Volta region, the president assured that the assistance will be provided to all those affected.
I think everybody here, and I hope you take the message all across, North Tongue, South Tongue, Central Tongue. And when these things happen and government acts, politics does not come into the matter at all. When I took the oath of office as president, I took the oath of office as president of every single individual in Ghana, of all peoples in Ghana, all districts. And whether they voted for me or not, once I have taken the oath, I am the president of all the people. So, Toby, you and your elders, I want the people here, you, beginning with you, and the elders to understand that when something like this happens and government acts, government is acting for Ghanaians, all Ghanaians. I came here because Ghanaians are having difficulties and are suffering. And it is my responsibility to try and help. Because if it's a question of counting who votes for me and who doesn't vote for me, I shouldn't be here because you don't vote for me. But that is not my concern. And in any event, one day you will vote for me and my party. So Tommy, I came here this afternoon to express my sympathies and to commiserate with all the people of Mepe and the area.
You heard President Akufo-Addo, but in a related development, the opening of the Bagre Dam is also posing a significant threat to businesses and daily activities in communities along the Oti River, including Dambai, Ketekrachi, and other remote areas. Rising water levels from the Oti River are submerging homes and shops along the riverbanks, causing distress among local residents. There are concerns that the situation could worsen, affecting these communities even more. A resident of Ketekrachi, Kingsley Timoni, expressed his concerns about the situation with Citi News.
Especially Old Roto. So many houses have been destroyed, and the owners have also left the place as I speak to you. All their farmlands, including their crops, have been submerged seriously. Others are sitting under trees, under sheds. Those structures have been destroyed. So this is serious. In Old Roto, in the Kati West municipality, as I speak to you, in dire need of help. Talking about food, shelter, clothing, and other things. If you see how most of the people are living here, it's not good at all. We are in dire need of help. But we were told not more has been here, but I can't tell how swift it will be. We are pleading for help seriously.
You heard Kingsley Timoni. He's a resident from Ketekrachi in the Oti region.
97.3 Citi FM is the station. This is Eyewitness News. Your comments and reactions to the stories we are doing for you this evening. The president is drawing fire for attempting to call for non-politicization of the crisis in the Lower Volta area, but he's been accused of having ended up doing the very thing he was asking people not to do. What is your view on the subject matter? Send us your comments, 054-9986-996. Let me go on to the line and speak to my colleague, Umaru Sanda Amadou, the lead host of Eyewitness News, who is in the Ada areas of the Greater Accra region, monitoring the state of affairs in those communities affected by the spillage of excess water from the Akosombo Dam. Umaru Sanda, thank you so much for joining us. So exactly where in Ada are you, and what can you report, or what have you been seeing?
Thank you very much, Kai. Good evening to our listeners. I'm speaking to you from an area known as Azania. It's in Ada. Now, Ada has a number of island communities, which is very significant. You do know that it's a tourist destination. Lots of people come here to engage in water activities and also just simply for relaxation. So when the news broke of the flooding, recall the first videos and images that emerged. One showed Aqua Safari, a very popular resort here, as having been flooded. So on entering Ada, we decided to make a stop there to see what the things there are looking like. Indeed, we got to Aqua Safari, and the water, much of it has receded, even though officials and managers there have shown us the level that the water got to, almost to the foot of their building. And if you know Aqua Safari well, the water was a bit far, or used to be a bit far from their facility, but it is pretty much very, very close to their facility now. And this is because it has receded. That's why it's not even inside. That is the first stop. We decided also we cannot access the island because you need to go through using canoes and other machinery to cross and use the ferries to go up there. So we have not been able to go. We could only see them from afar. A number of island communities that surround Adan, all the people who live in these areas have been moved by NADMO, the National Disaster Management Organization, that has brought them to safe havens. In Big Adan and in Azania, there are two major safe havens. One is at the Methodist School in Big Adan, and then the other at Azania Basic School. I've been to both of them. And Sky, yesterday when I reported to you from Toko, I told you how distressing the situation was over there for people who were in the camp. I can report to you tonight that the situation I'm seeing in Adan is remarkably different. People here have seen improved services. The National Disaster Management Organization, coupled with the District Assembly, been very, very helpful here. The places that they have been put very orderly. There are mattresses or student mattresses that have been given to almost everybody here. Food is provided morning, afternoon, and evening. There is water that is flowing, of course, because the Ghana Water Company supply here. So they are having water supply here. They do not have such challenges as we saw in Toko yesterday when they have to go fetch water. Food is in constant supply. They're getting food. They have water, like I've stated. They have comfortable bed. In fact, one of the classrooms that I went to has electricity, which means in the night they can even switch on the light. And for people who are coming from that village which didn't have electricity, this is actually an upgrade for them, except to say that your home would always be better than someone else's home. So this looks like home away from home for them. The comfort may not be the same, the safety may not be the same, but it is definitely way better than what I have seen in other areas. Number of communities here that were affected. We have Azizanya in Adan. We have Keuno is one of the areas that have been affected. There's an area known as Ministry. And then Agbopo, which is where Aqua Safari is sited. We have Azizakwe Island, is one of the islands here whose community members have had to be moved here. We have Alopim, it's also an island. We have Afilivi Island, and then these are the areas. The safe havens, like I've stated to you, Big Adan Methodist Church has provided its school premises to be used as a safe haven and as Azania DA Basic School. So these are the rounds we've been making. The community people we've been engaging in, they are pretty feeling better and happier than the ones from yesterday. Although the water has entered many homes here and people are still displaced. But the thing I've noticed is that many people have relatives who have homes in areas that have not been affected. So lots of them, instead of moving to safe havens, would rather put up with family members. Right?
Yeah, so yesterday we spoke about economic activity in the Toko areas that you visited. Rice farms decimated around your own area, Suchari. I would imagine that in the Ada areas that you visited, economic activity has taken a hit. What are the key economic activities that may have been affected by the flooding?
Okay, so the issue with Ada is that we do know that Ada is the salt mining area. We do know about the big issue around Electrochem doing the mining, salt mining business here. Already there are traditional means of salt mining happening here. I've inquired from managers of Electrochem where the lagoon is, where the salt mining happens. I have been told that they have been saved. The water, even though there's a stream that moves through that area, that stream is full, but it has not affected the salt mining. The mainstay of people here is fishing. And so I'm not really sure how it would affect a fisherman whose job is supposed to put their canoe on the sea or on the river and go fishing. So I've seen them mending their nets, looking all comfortable on their boats and their various canoes as they sit here and wait. I would not say that they have been challenged, and they have not said same to me. Crop farmers, even if they do, unlike the Suchari areas, they used to channel the water into the crop farms. That is why the water, excess water, has affected their farms. In this particular area, what I noticed is that crop farms are not necessarily sited so close to the river as to affect it. So, Sky, the economic situation would differ from what we saw and heard yesterday.
Umaru Sanda Amadu, thank you so much for that comprehensive report from the Ada area of the Greater Accra region. This is Eyewitness News. Your comments and reactions are very much welcome to the stories that we are reading or bringing you this evening. 054-9986-996, 054-9986-996. Let Ajwa take some of those comments for us.
So Christian Ameko from Temakbone says the president did not have any respect for the people in the Volta region, the Volta caucus in parliament, and the chiefs in the Volta region must sit up. If it's Kumasi, what would he have said? And then again, he says the true men of God are dissociating themselves from the corrupt cancer that is eating up the national cathedral. Aziz Donla from WA says before he became president, he swore an oath to protect all citizens. In fact, the posture and utterances of the president is ridiculous and unfortunate. Did he get all the votes in Chebi? Let's take the last one from Prince Henry from Koforidua, who says Ghana's problem is political will to enforce our laws without favor. But to be frank, Nana Addo goofed and must apologize to the good people of the Volta region.
We'll be returning to that particular story later on in the program. For now, though, let's stay in the Ada area. Ebenezer Dando is the public relations officer for NADMO in the Ada East Municipal Assembly, if I'm right. He's joined us on the line to tell us about what exactly they are doing right, because Umaru Sanda appears to tell us that things are not as bad as we see in the other parts of the affected areas. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for joining us. First of all, it would seem that you are doing something right in the Ada areas. Can you tell us exactly why you are getting it right, or so it seems?
Good evening. Yes, we are doing evacuation at the moment. There are floods along the communities, the island communities, and some communities along the Volta River. So we are doing evacuation at the moment. We started last Sunday. All right.
Well, you have not addressed my question. So it would seem that okay, so let me put it this way. We visited some areas. People don't seem to have enough to eat. They don't seem to have, proper places to lay their heads. And people are simply in dire distress. Umaru Sanda reports from your area and says that things are better in your municipality. And I'm asking, why does the situation seem to be the case he reported?
Okay, yes, this place is not so serious compared to other places like Mepe, but yes. And because of the sea, most of the waters are entering into the sea, which is making situation very moderate or simple for us.
Okay, what are the numbers in your municipality? How many people have been displaced, if any?
Okay, for now, we've been able to evacuate 347 from Adam 4, and Big Adam, we've evacuated 62.
Okay, thank you so much. Sir Ebenezer Dando is the Public Relations Officer for NADMO in the Ada East Municipal Area. He's been telling us about what they have been doing in that part of the country. This is Eyewitness News. When we return, the president is drawing fire for comments he made in the Volta region yesterday. Reactions coming up.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry, Chairman Mane. Chairman. Hey, Chairman! Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
I'm on way. Yeah. Media some bisanda mo. Eti emro ti no. Mu ho pa na tumi fi na mo bodom pe mo na yakono. Eye kwabna. No mu ho nso na tumi just male me ma ye nyina de. Eye kojo. Enu kro. Ko bring to me wi na bodom pe mo sense o yin super accident eba. Aye den oban ni do braye. Pu si echi na mo ho ban na sem ma na ho de ne. Sa ani na kudwo nso yin super accident chako. Na enu ne de e ma wo se wo ye krejen fita. Na wotimi asiri bejo ma na feel you. Hey kojo sa. Yeah. Pepsodent Eba and a Pepsodent Charcoal. Avenie. Ya kono natural.
FTIJ Trading Katuyatu.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back to Eyewitness News. Still ahead, we'll be telling you about why Archbishop Duncan Williams and Reverend Eastwood Anaba have resigned from the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral Project. But please send us your comments 054-9986-996, 054-998-6996. Let's stay with the flooding situation in the Lower Volta Basin.
An environmental scientist, Professor Chris Gordon, has pointed out the impending ripple effect resulting from the spillage of the Akosomo and Pong dams. The spillage has displaced thousands of people in various regions in Ghana. Professor Gordon highlighted the importance of returning to the drawing board to ensure the preservation of vital infrastructure considering the current data on climate change.
The vital infrastructure of this country needs to be climate-proof, which means that the plans we made 20 years ago are no longer appropriate. They need to be redrawn, recalculated based on the current data. Now, on the issue of environment and health implications, people have talked about the pollution on the beaches, because all the rubbish, all the solid waste that was in the areas being flooded are now being carried to the sea. And as a result of that, we're going to have implications on our fish. So what I'm saying is that there's going to be a cascading set of problems as a result of the flooding and the spillage. On the environment side, we are losing our biodiversity. Species that cannot escape will get flooded and will die. And please, if you're thinking of using canoe to go and collect coconuts because the coconuts are at the level of your remember, that is a safe haven for snakes now. Many snakes will move to any high ground that they have. And when you have snakes and people together, you're going to have snake bite. The problem of health is very complicated because all of these agricultural lands usually have got a certain amount of agrochemicals, pesticides, fertilizer. All of these things have been now mobilized, now moving in the water. As for the human feces, let me say it, the human shit that we scatter through open defecation, through KVIPs which are not properly maintained, soakways and manholes which are not covered. This is all adding to the cocktail of pollution that is floating around. And as people have said, people are having to use that water for a domestic purpose.
Professor Chris Gordon added that it is critical that the Akosomo Dam be maintained and preserved to avoid any casualties.
People don't appreciate the size of the water lake. The water lake is actually bigger than at least 30 countries in this world. The length, 400 kilometers, width 25, the volume of water in that lake is sufficient to give 2 sachet water to everybody on this planet for 40 years. it's a huge amount of water that dam is holding back. And as a result, anything that could compromise either overtopping or cracking that dam would have such severe ramifications downstream. So it is imperative that the water, the Akosombo Dam, be maintained and preserved by the steps that the VRA is taking. You made some comments about the Bagri Dam and the Whitewater. We have a residence time of the water of around 4 years. Basically, when water enters the top part of the dam, that water which enters the top will come out of the penstocks, the spillways, in about 4 years. So yes, there may be additional surge of water later on in the year, but at this point in time, the Bagri Dam will not be contributing to the spillage.
You heard Professor Chris Gordon. He's an environmental scientist.
So as you may well know, we have been on a campaign inviting listeners to contribute to our efforts to provide relief items and cash to support residents of the affected areas following the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. And we have had support from a number of companies thus far. For example, today on the Citi Breakfast Show, we announced the receipt of 100,000 Ghana cedis in support from Star Oil Company Limited, an OMC that operates within our country. It is actually an indigenous company that operates within our country. And then also we received an additional 10,000 Ghana cedis from Pay Angel, who are payment processors operating in Ghana and internationally. Let's go to excerpts of today's edition of the Citi Breakfast Show when some of these details were announced on the show.
I saw a picture of my hometown road also getting covered.
Where is your hometown?
I'm from Alakple.
Alakple.
Your hometown road has been...
Yes.
Has been Your hometown road has been overrun.
Yeah. It's been overrun. And I was first, my brothers and I, we were thinking it was the rain, but I'm like, yesterday, there was this doctor who spoke about the spillage affecting the other areas in Angola, Kome, and the rest if care is not taken. Yes. And then I got back to my brother and was like, no, I think this thing, I mean, it's beginning to get down crazily. So quickly, management decided to come in and provide some small
so how much
cash.
are you bringing to us?
We are making a 10,000 donation.
Wow.
Let me collect the money.
This is how you do it. You hear what we are doing. You can either send it by Momo or you can come to the studio and come and tell us what you are doing and donate it. So Pay Angel has brought us 10,000 cedis. They are a money remittance company, wholly Ghanaian company, bringing in money from the UK, the US, Canada, the rest of the world into Africa. They also do API systems, a fast-growing company, over a decade old in the country. All right, thank you. I also got a message from a friend, Hope. He's from Agbozome. He said, Bernard, I was thinking about my flooded house in Agbozome, but listening to what's happening in Mepe, I've forgotten about mine, and I've sent you 500 cedis by money.
Oh, bless you, bless you, bless you. Bernard, let me also announce quickly that the Star Oil Company Limited, which is also an indigenous Ghanaian company, they are donating to us 100,000 Ghana cedis in support. 100,000. Let me
invite my to come. This one you have to go. By the way, present the check to him.
Yes,
present the money. Yes, the big man.
Yes.
We heard you talk about the flood issues, and it's a bit emotional, we might say. And so at the HR Certification Center, we are committed to supporting our community. And so we just want to say that we are ready to contribute to your effort. And so as a center, we are donating 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Professional
HR Certification Center.
2,000, bam.
Yes.
Into the account.
Yes.
Well, I got to join them over here and add on to that, donation that they have made to to support. Ever since the incident happened, I've been going in and out. Probably have already done over 10,000 worth of relief items. They have done 2,000. I'm adding 8,000.
Wow.
So we scored it up. So we scored it up to
10,000.
Probably some 20,000 for our contribution to, especially they are my people.
Yeah.
I have also been hard hit, but by God's grace, we can eat, at least we can have our
when you look
a day.
When you look at the people, what do you think we should prioritize in getting? Somebody was talking about water purification tablets. Some say we should send water. Some say food. Based on what you've seen.
Yes.
For those who have
you would mention all the critical things.
Okay.
What I think we should add is probably good education.
Excerpts of today's edition of the City Breakfast Show. You can catch the City Breakfast Show between 6:25 and 10 a.m. every weekday. Meanwhile, you can also make your own monetary contributions via the Momo number 0550 900 006, and you see the account name Omni Media. And when you're making your contribution, use the reference flood support and send items you may have, including water, canned food or bagged food, mattresses, blankets, toiletries, detergents, and medical supplies you can bring them to our collection point, which is our Adabraka office here in Accra, just behind the Adabraka police station. Let's return to the story having to do with the president's comments in the Mefa area yesterday and some new matters regarding the National Cathedral project. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa is the Member of Parliament for the North Town constituency. Has joined us on the line reacting to the president's comments yesterday. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for your time. Some have argued that the president was speaking contextually and there was absolutely nothing wrong with what he said. He was basically stating the fact. You disagree. Why?
Well, good evening, Richard. I must emphasize that for us in North Town, we are faced with a humanitarian crisis. We don't think that this is a time for politics at all. The president can say whatever he wants. His spin doctors can put whatever spin they want to put on it. I want to discuss the plight of my people. As I speak to you, Richard, the communities that are affected have increased. We now have 20 camps. As I speak to you, there's massive congestion. The Regional Health Directorate has warned after an assessment that there's a looming epidemic, typhoid, malaria. They are also talking about cholera because of the conditions. The place is really in a mess. We have water going into all kinds of arenas, mortuaries, cemeteries, landfill sites, refuse dams, public toilets. So we have contaminated water to deal with. Then we have massive congestion in these makeshift camps. Relief items have been slow and far and in between. It's hard to take private individuals to come to our aid, particularly today. As I speak to you, I've just stepped out of a meeting with the Christian Council who are here to carry out an impressive donation. I've seen the items they brought. Earlier in the day, the Ghana Tanker Owners Union were here with another very impressive donation. And we urge more Ghanaians, corporate Ghana, philanthropic individuals, the diplomatic community to reach out to us. We will want to hear the government declare a state of emergency. As ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Richard, I can confirm to you that a number of diplomats are asking me, why is your government not declaring a state of emergency? Because that is what will trigger our support, our intervention. And they are right. All the tenets of a state of emergency are very apparent. As I speak to you, Richard, there is no schooling. For more than a week, education has been disrupted. Most of these makeshift camps are in schools, so no education. Water has been cut. Ghana Water Company has cut water. And you can understand, their substations were submerged. Their water pumps were submerged. Same for ECG, cutting electricity because their substations submerged. And they are saying they don't want mass electrocution. As I speak to you, Richard, you have a situation where people don't have access to their medication. They had to flee for their dear lives. So senior citizens, the aged, we are now scrambling around trying to get them their medication. It's only today that we kicked off our new partnership with the Ghana Medical Association, what I'm calling the MP's medical caravan, to go around the camps, take everybody's medical history, make sure we provide them with medicines. And let me thank Atlantic Pharmaceuticals, who are on their way with much needed medicine. So we don't have any time for politics, Richard. This is not the time for politics. We don't want to care about how people vote and who is going to vote for who in the next election. I don't want to talk about that. Anybody can do their politics, but not us in Northtown at this time when we are faced with a humanitarian crisis. We need help. We need a state of emergency declared. We need more tents. There's too much congestion in these makeshift camps. NADMO keeps promising that they are bringing tents. The tents haven't arrived. People are crammed. People are congested. These are the things that we should be addressing. Richard, you should come and see. I'm sure your reporters have sent you some of the videos. I mean, homeless people who are depressed, who are traumatized, who are living in ramshackle classrooms, in congested environments. I mean, that is what should be our priority, Richard.
Now, let's get to the point about the declaration of state of emergency, which you say would help push greater effort towards the situation in your constituency and beyond. Article 31 of the Constitution demands specific requirements. The Council of State must have its own view on the matter, and 72 hours or so after the declaration by the president, it must go before Parliament. As we speak, Parliament is not sitting. How do you expect a declaration to be made at the time we do not have Parliament in session?
I am glad that you've raised these constitutional requirements that have to be met. Fortunately, these constitutional requirements are not some Chinese wall that we cannot jump over. We are all able and ready to convene an emergency meeting of the House. We don't have to wait. There are times that we have done this over less important matters. I mean, you have followed Parliament. I can call you a Ghanaian Parliament expert because of the many years that you've been with us in the House. You recall that we have called the House during periods of recess on matters such as even Fortis, you remember, Ford, the Ford exhibition matter, all kinds of petty political issues. How much more on this humanitarian crisis? So we should be able to convene the House to sit even under 2 hours. If there is a political will, it can be done. The Council of State, I'm sure, will be happy to agree with us on this matter. Fortunately, a number of them have reached out to me. Some have even sent videos asking, I mean, is this real or is fake news? I tell them that it's real and it's actually worse than what you have. So I know that within the political class, there is some deep concern and there's tremendous, goodwill to help, to reach out to all these affected people. NADMO says the number has increased to about 26,000. Northtown alone has 10,000, and it's going to go up. Unfortunately, I met VRA officials earlier today. They are telling me that the spilling will continue because the water levels are not going down. And you do know that the rains too are pouring thick and fast. It's been raining cats and dogs. So there is no end in sight. We cannot look at the horizon and know exactly when. Nobody can predict that, look, this crisis will end in a week or in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So we are in a really difficult place.
Okay, so let's take
traumatizing times. And so this declaration is important and we can do it. If there's a political will, it can be done.
I understand you say that the international community is willing to help if the declaration is made by the president. But why exactly do we need that to actually kick off with a bigger attempt to deal with the problem?
So you see, look, we need an all hands on deck. And so far, NADMO appears to be struggling. I mean, since they told us that they were going to bring tents it's been almost a week. I spoke to the Volta regional minister. He says the interministerial committee is meeting today. We should give them time. But you see, this requires urgency, and we are getting really frustrated.
But why would a state of emergency make a difference? That's the question I'm asking.
It will, because it's going to then make resources available. Everybody is going to sit up, because so far, look, let's be honest, it's been a very lethargic approach by leadership, very lackadaisical. I mean, you don't get the sense that there's real mobilization. That declaration is going to jolt people out of slumber, and everybody's going to get to work.
Okay, now let's turn our attention quickly to something else you have been dealing with as a person and as a member of parliament, the matter of the National Cathedral project. We have before us a notice sent to the President of the Republic by two distinguished men of God, Archbishop Duncan Williams and Reverend Eastwood Anaba. They say they will no longer continue as members of the Board of Trustees. Are you surprised by this decision?
Richard, I'll be very brief on this, because I have told you that we are responding to a humanitarian crisis. The Christian Council is waiting for me. I just want to commend highly the two revered clergymen. Some may say it's delayed, but I would say better late than never. They have covered themselves in glory by this resignation, and it's a vindication, really, a clear confirmation about all the things I've been talking about. Look at how they say within the board they have been really frustrated about getting the board to carry out an independent audit. If folks in there have nothing to hide, why did they really prevent efforts by these respected clergymen to have an independent audit? So it's a clear confirmation. I'm sure in the coming days we'll have time. Fortunately, there's going to be a national inquiry, an independent parliamentary inquiry on this matter. Our motion has gone through. Speaker approved. The House has voted on it. We're just waiting for the MPP side of the House to send their membership, and then we'll have the full-blown inquiry. It will be public hearings, and we will delve into the matter. So there will be a day for us to really look at these National Cathedral issues. But for now, let me just commend them for their resignation. It's a clear vindication, and I want to return to our humanitarian crisis.
Thank you so much for talking to us. The Honourable Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency in the Volta region, the constituency which is most devastated by the spillage of excess water from the Akosombo Dam. We still need your support. You can send in your support so that we can help people in desperate need of food items and other relief items. But for now, let me quickly tell you about this statement that went to the President of the Republic. It's actually a letter dated the 12th of October 2023. And it says, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo Golden Jubilee House. Hey, Golden Jubilee House. Accra, Ghana. And it says, Your Excellency, we extend our profound salutations to you in the name of Jesus Christ. As much as we have met many times over the past 2 years on issues of national significance, you may recall our request for an appointment with you to specifically discuss the National Cathedral of Ghana, a vision of yours that we share and cherish. We truly understand that the demand of the nation and indeed the world that have been placed upon your shoulders may have prevented the realization of this meeting. Further to the National Cathedral, in January 2023, as trustees of the Board of Trustees, we submitted a draft resolution to the said board, resolving that current activities advancing the construction of Ghana's National Cathedral be deferred until the findings of an audit. Now, this deferment included a cessation of activities of the Board of Trustees. Specifically, our resolution stated, quote and unquote, In the spirit and the course of transparency and accountability to the Ghanaian people, the current Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral shall appoint an independent accounting firm to audit all public funds contributed to the National Cathedral. This appointment of an auditor shall take place before the deferment of the activities of the Board of Trustees. Now, despite our prayers, best hopes and wishes, unfortunately, a needed audit to help restore public confidence and trust in the consequential project has not been enacted to the best of our knowledge. Since January 2023, we awaited news to no avail regarding the finding of the audit. We therefore regret that as a matter of conscience and faith, we hereby submit to you our resignation from the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral. We honorably assure you, as we assured the Board of Trustees in January 2023 with the submission of our resolution, that our action in no way impugns the vision or intent of the National Cathedral, but rather ensures that it is advanced and built on a foundation of integrity, efficiency, and quality, while garnering and maintaining public trust and support. We truly owe this to God and country. He continues by saying, we remain confident that one day your vision of a national cathedral of Ghana that provides a sacred space and infrastructure for formal religious and other activities in the nation, such as state funerals, presidential inaugural services, and global gatherings that advance faith, peace, reconciliation, stability, and a better world, while supporting tourism as a promising pillar of Ghana's economy, will be realized in our lifetime. We believe that you will always stand as the visionary and the architect of this vision, and trust that a dream deferred is not a dream denied. Your Excellency, please accept the assurances of our prayers and best wishes to you and the Board of Trustees of Ghana's National Cathedral for strength and success. We thank you for the opportunity to serve our nation. Sincerely, signed, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, founder and general overseer of the United Dominions of Church or Action Chapel Churches worldwide. And it's been co-signed by Reverend Eastwood Anaba, who is the president of Eastwood Anaba Ministries. This is Eyewitness News. When we return, some other stories on Eyewitness News tonight.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Shane Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back to Eyewitness News. Let's take some comments coming in, and Adra will help us with some comments.
So Abi National from WA says, good to hear your voice again, Sky, but for the president, he insulated the ministers who were in the Volta region. We have this one coming from Kweku La Paz. He said, Richard, you're asking ridiculous questions. It is the responsibility of the president to raise the state of emergency. Only few people have heard about the Akusumu spillage. It is the president's responsibility to elevate it. Akapo Jr. from, let me rather take this one from Moses from Damongo. He says the president is being honest with the people of Volta region that they do not vote for the NPP, and we all know that.
Okay, thank you so much for your comment. 054-998-6996. Let's take you to some other stories this evening. Ajua.
The government, through the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission (GTEC), has called on the University Teachers Association of Ghana (UTAC) to exercise restraint regarding the payment of their book and research allowance. UTAC has threatened to disrupt industrial harmony if the government does not address their concerns regarding the delayed payment of the book and research allowance, which is a critical component of their conditions of service. The budget officer at GTEC, Sandra Amwa, explained that 6 out of the 15 traditional universities have been paid the allowance, with the rest expected to be paid by the end of the week.
Following the release by the Ministry of Finance, finance directors within the various universities are supposed to process the book and research allowances on GIFMIS, that is the Ghana Integrated Financial Management Information System. The soft version of the payment voucher hits controller, and then the hard copy is supposed to be submitted by the institution or the respective universities to the Ministry of Education Treasury Department. Our checks from controller indicates that that is the chief cashier, to be specific, that 6 universities have been paid, and the remaining will be rolled out. Payments will be rolled out hopefully today and tomorrow. I can't give the assurance because I'm not a controller, but we are hoping that by then payments will have been made. We'll actually ask or plead with them to be a little patient, and we know how the processes work or the system works. It doesn't mean controller will not make the payments. Payments will certainly be made, just that cash flow processes. So they should just be patient, and the payments will be made by controller.
That was the budget officer of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Sandra Amwa.
Let's take you now to the Supreme Court, because we're told that the Supreme Court has struck out an injunction filed by the National Democratic Congress and 4 other political parties which sought to stop the Electoral Commission from going ahead with the limited voter registration exercise which just ended. Now, 5-member panel of the Apex Court, presided over by Chief Justice Justice Gertrude Saki Tokonu, struck out the application following failure on the part of the applicants or their lawyers to appear in court to move the application. Now, when the case was called today, there was no lawyer or representative from the NDC or the other parties, forcing the court to take its decision to dismiss the application. Now, Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Eric Asari, and lawyer for the NDC, Justin Amanuvo, were, however, present in court, ready to litigate the matter. Let's take you to some of the stories.
The family of a 35-year-old businesswoman who was allegedly killed by her house help in Sokoban in the Ashanti region is urging the Attorney General to expedite action on the case. This request comes after the prosecutor revealed in court that the police had concluded their investigations and were awaiting advice from the Attorney General before proceeding with the committal process. The court adjourned the case to October 31, 2023. The deceased sister, Felicity Ajay, called for a swift trial, especially as the prime suspect has confessed to the crime.
I don't know where to start from. I just don't know where to start from. As they are saying right now, what we, the family, are expecting is justice. That's what we are expecting from them. As I always say, justice delay, justice deny. This guy has already confirmed that he has committed the crime. So we don't need any delayance. We want them to do it fast and do it faster. That is all.
But as a family, are you willing to follow this case?
To everywhere. We are willing and we are ready to.
So what are the arrangements with respect to the funeral arrangements and all that?
It's not yet. Far from it. It's December, on the 2nd December. So we are on preparation. What's coming to court?
Felicity Ajay is sister of the deceased 35-year-old businesswoman who was allegedly killed by her house help at Sokoban in the Ashanti region. And earlier today, members of the National Democratic Congress paid a visit to Citi TV to offer their support to journalist Akosua Oche, who was attacked while covering the vetting of parliamentary aspirants in the Ododo constituency in Accra. Akosua Oche was attacked by some NDC sympathizers who twisted her arm while attempting to snatch her phone. Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami Jemfi, assured Citi TV, Citi FM's management that they would ensure the culprits are brought to justice.
Express our sincerest apologies to the station for the unfortunate incident that happened at our regional office sometime last week. It's very unfortunate that Akosua Oche, who has been covering a number of NDC events, got attacked in the process. We've seen the extent of the injury she sustained. We are praying and hoping for her speedy recovery, and we are committed to providing some support to assist her medical treatment. But more importantly, beyond condemning the unfortunate incident, I want to express our commitment to investigations into this matter with the objective of apprehending the perpetrators and punishing them appropriately, both at the level of the party and also at the level of the state.
Sami Jemfi is the Communications Officer of the National Democratic Congress. Now, the Managing Director of Citi FM, Citi TV, Samuel Atamensa, also acknowledged the concern shown by the party and emphasized the need for political parties to address the issue of violence among the youth.
We believe that political parties should wake up to this reality that exists among the file of the political parties, the rank and file, as we say, young people who like to express themselves, and at times without direction, they do the wrong things. And I don't think that anybody is proud of that. And then the unintended outcome of an accident for our young lady, Akosua, which we all regret. So we thank you for coming. And I think we think that political parties should just wake up to this reality. The young ones will keep doing these things, but how we arrest the situation will send a stronger signal what is permissible within the party, what is not, and it gives all of us the kind of peace that we need to conduct ourselves.
You heard the Managing Director of Citi TV and Citi FM, Samuel Atamensa.
And let me say that we also received a delegation from Giba. And then also we welcomed them, and then they told us the reason they were there, led by Cecil Thomas Sunkwa Mills, who is the president of Giba, expressing his shock at the attack on our reporter. Let me also quickly state that I had actually said inadvertently that Justin Amanuvo was the lawyer for the NDC. He's actually the lawyer for the National Democratic, the Electoral Commission. He's the lawyer for the Electoral Commission, not the NDC, because the NDC did not have representation in court, together with the other parties, explaining why the Supreme Court struck out the case. That's just for purposes of correction. This is Eyewitness News, 97.3 Citi FM is the station. Your comments are welcome, 054-998-6996. We also had a visit today from the GJA, the Ghana Journalists Association. They also came to actually comfort us following the attack by some NDC loyalists on our reporter, Adjoa, over last week or so. It was, is it Adjoa Akosua, yes. 97.3 Citi FM is the station. This is Eyewitness News. When we return, we have business news coming up.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. My name is Ajwa Tinkrama Domina. The details now. The National Fisheries Association of Ghana says it is planning to meet with the Fisheries and Aquaculture Ministry and Parliament's Select Committee on Agriculture to seek support for its members who have been affected by the devastating impact of the Akosomo Dam spillage. The spillage has had severe consequences on fish farms in communities like Mepe in the Volta region, and it has also disrupted various other economic activities in the region. Executive member of the National Fisheries Association of Ghana, Register Ni Ama Amafio, in the City Business News, said the critical need for support to alleviate the difficulties faced by their members should be paramount.
We need to do a bit of quantification to be able to have a fair idea of both the economic and social impact of the persons who have been affected by the activities and what has to be done to restore them. And so it will be premature for us as an industry to immediately tell you what kind of support may be needed. Some may have lost their nets, their craft, and all of that. So we would visit, we will interact with them, and probably hold a meeting with the ministry and the Parliamentary Select Committee to have a clear discussion as to the way forward in ensuring that people are restored to some economic normalcy.
Register Ni Ama Amafio is the executive member of the National Fisheries Association of Ghana. Economist Professor Lord Mensah has intimated that the government is unlikely to encounter difficulties in roping Eurobond holders onto the debt restructuring program. The government has hinted that holders of Eurobonds may experience haircuts ranging from 30 to 40% as part of efforts to restructure the nation's foreign debt. Furthermore, these bonds coupons cannot exceed 5%, and their final maturities cannot be longer than 20 years. Speaking to City Business News, Professor Lord Mensah said the inclusion of Eurobond holders is crucial to helping the government conclude its external debt restructuring.
Once there's a debt restructure, you should expect a haircut on your coupon or your principal, or even if they extend the time of payment, is a form of haircut, because you don't know the value, you will not know the value of your money by the time you receive it. The Eurobond, these are commercial bond holders, and they should expect that because they've enjoyed some returns that commensurate the risk that they are facing. And like I always say, they have understanding of the market more than we do, but they know investment very well. So I don't think government will struggle with those restructuring compared to what was happening. If the economy is going to run down completely and you will not get your money, it's better to have to restructure so that when the economy starts picking up, you enjoy your coupons and then your principal in the long run.
Professor Lord Mensah is an economist. To other stories, petroleum sector players want the government and the Bank of Ghana to tackle the depreciation of the cedi to ensure Ghana harnesses the full benefits of lower crude oil prices on the international market. Presently, some leading oil marketing companies have marginally reduced prices in a second pricing window in October. Goil and Total are currently vending petrol at 12 cedis 99 per litre, with diesel selling at 13 cedis 50 pesos per litre. But some industry watchers insist petroleum prices should have dropped much further. They want robust measures taken to stabilize the city's exchange rate to help mitigate the impact of currency depreciation on fuel prices in Ghana. Let's hear from Duncan Amwa, he's Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEC.
Finding petrol at 10 cedis would most definitely depend on what the Bank of Ghana does with our forex or the city's position. The conventional unspoken rule had always been that petrol could do for about 97 cents to $1. So anytime you find $1 trading for above 11, almost 12, then it's likely petrol will hover around that, index. If we want petrol to come below 10, the Bank of Ghana will need to set up and step up their game, because the forward FX or the forex computation in fuel pricing will come to play eventually. Even if world market prices came down so low and your city continues to depreciate, you are still going to pay so high for petrol simply because they don't buy the product in the city denomination. And of course, if they finish selling, they need to pay the supplier in the dollar denomination. So that exchange conversion would always have a very significant role to play in how much fuel will cost to Ghanaians.
Duncan Amoah is Executive Secretary of COPEC, but still on that, the Institute of Energy Security, IES, is also raising a similar concern. IES maintains that despite the dip in the prices of crude oil on the global markets, there isn't much reprieve for customers. Executive Secretary of IES, Nana Amoah, spoke to Citi Business News.
But for the significant depreciation of the Ghana cedi against the US dollar, consumers will have enjoyed a much greater reduction at pump. However, the reductions on the international market is enough to cause a dip in the value of prices at the pump. It means that the prices will still dip, but then if we didn't have the cedi depreciating against the US dollar, the dipping in price of at the pump will have been greater. On average terms, we are going to see gasoline come close to 13.2 pesos per litre and gas oil around 13 Ghana cedis per litre. Definitely, we're going to stand a 50 pesos give off. If the cedi had not depreciated, we will have seen roughly a 1 cedi, reduction at the pump because the bit about the dollar price is very important for the importers. So anytime the cedi depreciates and causes the importers to look for extra cedis to get the same volume against the last pricing window, then of course they are compelled to pass that increment on the cedi to the overseas. And the oil marketing company will also extend same to consumers.
That was Executive Secretary of the Institute of Energy Security, Nana Amoah, the 7th. Before we go, Regional Trade Advocacy Group Borderless Alliance is asking ECOWAS to fast-track the implementation of the region's trade liberalization scheme to enhance intra-regional trading activities, particularly in light of the global economic disruptions. The scheme is a mechanism to facilitate free movement of goods in West Africa without customs duties and taxes. National President of the Borderless Alliance in Ghana, Zaid Hamui, in an interview with Citi Business News, stressed the importance of intra-trade to boost economic resilience. He was speaking ahead of the group's 10th annual regional conference under the theme Strengthening Regional Agricultural Value Chains to Compete in a Global Market.
We import food that we do not produce. We should be producing part of that food. I'm not saying full sustainability or full self-reliance, but we should be self-reliant to a certain level in some strategic goods and products, and especially when it comes to our food security. Because we have seen situations where the degeneration of the economic activity have led to bigger ramifications and sudden changes in governments across the not just across West Africa, but across the continent in general. So the case is very clear. Economic opportunity creates stabler and more resilient societies and more thriving countries. So let us work together to eliminate these barriers to the regional integration process, not just of West Africa, of the whole continent. The only advice is to look at the economic opportunities that will unlock the benefits for their people, for their governments and their countries, and to look at how to accelerate the ratification and the implementation and the alignment of their national regulations with the continental one.
Zaid Hamui is National President of Regional Trade Advocacy Group Borderless Alliance. And that's all for Citi Business News. On Eyewitness News, it was powered by your most comprehensive business website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Ajwa Tinkrama Domina. Up next is Point Blank.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's Rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you. Can't feel better energy. Can't touch this. Guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Money alone Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that. Sorry, Chairman Omani. Chairman, hey! Quartz, keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Good evening and welcome back to Eyewitness News, and this is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. Tonight on Point Blank, the Electoral Commission says it is satisfied with its performance in the just ended limited voter registration exercise. Now, the Commission says even though it set out to register some 700,000 people who make up some 52% of the registrable population of 1.3 million people in Ghana, it registered over 910,000 persons over the 21-day period. At the press conference this afternoon, a deputy chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Samuel Tete, noted that this was possible because of the quality of equipment deployed by the Electoral Commission and the dedication of staff of the Commission. Let's hear him.
We did not state that it was going to register 1,350,000. It is not possible to register every single person who turned 18 for the period to 2023. We projected 1,000. So we never stated anywhere that we were going to register 1,350,000 registrable population. It is important to note that people abstain from voting for various reasons, among other things, religious reasons or belief, apathy, etc. And hence, not all the registrable voters of 1,350,000 will register. Again, in our previous engagement with the media, the EC stated that the 2023 work plan and budget was based on a continuous voters registration exercise in our district offices. We indicated that we did not factor registration of voters on an area basis in our approved 2023 budget and work plan. The EC has not stated anywhere that Parliament is to be blamed for not approving its budget, hence its decision to register voters at the district offices. The EC stated it prepared a draft CI for a continuous registration exercise in all its district offices nationwide. And had the CI passed, the EC would have had some 6 months to register voters at of their choice. Indicated in the previous press briefings that it encountered some challenges, including internet connectivity, on the first day, which were swiftly resolved. It is baffling to hear some people dwell on the initial challenges when these were resolved overnight. Our robust network and internet connectivity counts for the 90% of applicants who registered online, that is using the internet, and the 10% registered offline. Indeed, there were issues with a network. We could not have achieved this. On the guarantor system, the Commission is of the view that under our current circumstances, the guaranteed its usefulness and cannot be. The best proof of a person's citizenship in Ghana is the Ghana card. The use of the guarantor system is fraught with blatant abuse as witnessed in the just ended. Most countries in the sub-region, to mention but a few, for example, Nigeria, South Africa, Senegal, Rwanda, and Kenya, do not use the guarantor system as evidence of identification as a citizen. If indeed we are committed to strengthening our electoral process, then the guarantor system must be abolished sooner than later. We call on the government again to fund NIA. Additionally, we entreat Parliament to approve or pass the CI on the registration of voters. The Commission upholds the encouragement of minors to register. This is a crime. It does not augur well for us, and we urge all citizens and stakeholders to join the Commission to solve this long-age canker. The sad fact is that these minors were passed to registration centers by citizens who should know better. This is unpardonable, and we once again call on the government to resource NIA to produce the cards and Parliament to approve the CI to enable us to use the Ghana card as sole means to identify a person's citizenship. The Commission wishes to inform the general public that guarantors who breached the law and perpetrated the act of guaranteeing for more than 10 applicants will not go unpunished. Their names will be published in the national dailies and they will be brought to prosecution. It is in the interest of the Commission to register every eligible applicant or citizen. However, the Commission will not sit aloof to let go offenders who flout its laws. In our previous press briefings, we projected videos and photos of minors in queue registering. Again, as part of our efforts to ensure that every eligible voter gets registered, a directive was issued by the Commission to all its district offices to issue chits or numbers to all applicants in the queue on or before 5 p.m. to go to the registration centers the next day to register. This measure was to ensure that all applicants who went to the registration centers on the last day and were in the queue on or before 5 p.m. were registered a day after the deadline. Although some registration centers recorded some number of applicants in the queue, most centers had less than 50 in the queue, and in some cases even 0, as indicated below. For instance, if you look at Upper East region, the registration centers, Kasina and Nankana had 84 as at the time of closure. They had 84 in the queue. Then we had Kasina and Nankana West 45, Bokatenga Municipal 15, Bongo 15, and Talensi 14. Western North, Awin, for instance, there was no one in the queue, 0. Bibiani and Yasu Bekwai, 0. Seviwe also 48. Sevia Kontomra, 0. Bodi, 0. And Bia West, 0. If you look at Bono East, districts like registration centers like Abubu and Atebubu Maintain, Pru West, Pru East, Sene West, Sene East, all had 0 as at 5 p.m. There was no one in the queue. We heard stories in the media about very large numbers of persons remaining in the queue after the last day, and we wish to state that our checks reveal that there were no large numbers as being alleged. In any case, the Commission was successful in registering all persons who were in the queue before 5 p.m., but could not be registered due to the fact that registration ended at 6 p.m. And I wish to state again that they were provided with chits or numbers by district officers and registered the next day. So these are few examples to indicate that not many applicants were in the queue as reported in some quarters of the media. The Commission also wishes to inform the general public that it has started replacing the ID cards for voters in the Kwan district. From Tuesday, 3rd October to Thursday, 2nd November, voters are required to go to the district office of the Commission at Vikpemat to collect their new voters' ID card. Between 3rd and 9th November 2023, voters in the Kwan district will be required to collect their replaced voter ID cards at the exhibition center. After the exhibition exercise, the uncollected voter ID cards will be sent to the district office, and voters are expected to go back to the district office to collect them. This exercise has become necessary because in 2020, voters in the Kwan district registered in the Jasikan district. With the creation of the Kwan district, their voter ID cards bearing the Jasikan district code have to be changed to reflect the code of the Kwan district. Voters in the Kwan district are therefore entreated to go to the district office and the exhibition centers during the exhibition period with their old voter ID cards and collect the replaced ones or the new ones. The name, age, sex, ID number of the applicant on the replaced or the new voter's ID card remains the same except the code of the district, the electoral area, and the polling station. Again, application for transfer of votes for both aspiring candidates and voters started from the 3rd and ended on the 9th of October 2023 at the district offices of the Commission. In all, 105,863 voters applied to transfer their votes to their new residence. In our bid to ensure that voters who have misplaced their voter ID cards are not overburdened, voters no longer have to travel long distances to the bank to pay for the replacement of lost voter ID cards. Applicants for the replacement of lost voter ID cards are to pay 10 cedis through the short code *222*1067#. Applicants are required to show proof of payment at the district office before being taken through the process for the replacement. Applicants shall be issued with a new or reprinted voter ID cards bearing the same details as provided at the time of registration, or, in other words, the same as the lost one. Replacement of lost voter ID cards is currently ongoing at the district offices of the Commission. This exercise started on Tuesday, 3rd October 2023, and voters who have lost their voters' ID cards should take this opportunity to visit any district office of the Commission to have their cards replaced. All applicants requesting for replacement shall be biometrically verified before their voter ID cards is printed for them. As stated earlier, the Commission is very much satisfied with the outcome of the registration exercise. At the end of the 21-day registration exercise, the Commission registered 910,996 persons as against the projected or the estimated 700,000. These are the regional distribution of the registration. Western region had 55,886, representing 6.1%. Western North, 31,483. Central, 85,152. Greater Accra, 124,166. Volta, 55,557. Uti, 26,481. Eastern, 92,780. Ashanti, 148,284. Bon, 31,922. Ahafu, 22,253. Bon East, 39,804. Savannah, 21,754. Northern, 76,510. Northeast, 24,667. And Upper East, 43,641. Upper West, 30,656. All added up to the 910,996. Ashanti region recorded the highest number of registered voters with 16.3%. Savannah region recorded the least number of voters with 2.4%. The challenge cases were 9,720, and this represents 1.1% of the total number of people registered. These are the regional totals for the challenge cases. Western, 557, Western North, 163, Central, 534, Greater Accra, 1,936, Volta, 1,392, Uti, 276, Eastern, 934, Ashanti, 1,232, Bon, 362, Ahafu, 125, Bon East, 408, Savannah, 326, Northern, 706, Northeast, 14, Upper East, 158, and Upper West, 597, added up to the 9,720. The pattern of the gender distribution of applicants where males outnumber females that emerged in the beginning of the registration exercise continued to the last day. Male constitute 51.7% of all the registered voters and female 48.3%. Apart from the Northeast and Upper West regions where females outnumber males, in all the remaining regions there are more males registered as voters in this exercise than females. With Western region, male 2, female 26,394. Western North, 16,373 male, and then female 15,110. Central, 43,569 males, 41,583 females. Greater Accra, 64,390 males, and then 59,776 females. Volta, 28,089 males, and then 27,468 females. OT, 14,494, 11,987 females. Eastern, 48,713 males, and then female 67. Ashanti had 74,832 males, and then females 73,415,361. Then I have male 11,262, female 10,984. Bon East, male 20,947, female 18,857. Savannah 943, and then female 10,211. I think the rest of the figures are here. We can actually give them to you when we are done with the press briefing. On the basis of the identification documents used by applicants, the guarantor system dominates with 563,919, representing 61. This distantly followed by the Ghana card at 37.8% and passport at 0.3%. The irony is that the 2020 voters register has almost 61% of registered voters using the Ghana card. How we now have the Ghana card representing 37.8% is open to several interpretations. However, the Commission is convinced that the grantor system has no place in our electoral democracy, and we call on all stakeholders to support the Commission's endeavor to use the Ghana card as the sole identification document for registration. The Commission, as indicated in our earlier engagements with the media, will roll out continuous registration of voters next year.
Had the Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Samuel Tete, addressing the media in Accra this afternoon. Bringing Eyewitness News to a close this evening. It was produced by Sami Wiafe.